How you doing? Welcome back to another episode of At the Movies with Cody. In case you're new to the channel, I'm Cody. Today we are going to talk about the 2018 movie Gotti. Oh man, I got a knot in my stomach just saying that. I just want to clarify, I am not talking about the HBO movie Gotti starring Armand Asante. I'm talking about the 2018 movie starring John Travolta. Not that Gotti, that Gotti. Not this, but that. Good, bad. Good, bad. Good, bad. Good, bad. Okay, enough of that. All right, Gotti. This movie has been in development for the longest time, 8 years to be exact. There were so many actors that were on board, but then they quit. Joe Pesci was cast, then he quit. Ben Foster was cast as John Gotti Jr., then he dropped out. Lindsay Lohan was supposed to play Victoria Gotti, then she dropped out. Al Pacino was supposed to play somebody, then he dropped out. And I actually remember reading Anthony Hopkins was supposed to play one of the mobsters, but of course, he dropped out. The movie went through dozens of producers and different directors and so many script changes. It was just a nightmare. It was a development nightmare. Gotti was directed by Kevin Connolly, the guy that played E in Entourage. And it stars John Travolta, who plays the Gambino crime boss, John Gotti. Travolta gives a very over-the-top, clowny performance as John Gotti. You just want to giggle every time you see him on the screen. He's very one-pitch throughout the entire movie. All he's doing every single scene is just talking tough, acting tough. Another scene, talking tough, acting tough. Another scene, talking tough, acting tough, just with different people. I don't necessarily blame him. It was bad writing, and bad writing sometimes equals bad acting. This movie was very messy and choppy. You couldn't tell how much time has passed since the last scene you're watching, and you're thinking, wait, is this the same day? Is this the same week? Is this the same month? Is this even the same year? You just didn't know. This movie was made on a very low budget, $10 million, and it obviously shows because there are a couple scenes in this movie where the lighting is just terrible, like god-awful. It's like, what happened? Where was the light guy? Did he duck out to get a cup of coffee? Did he call in sick? Did you even have one? John Gotti was a very famous mobster, possibly the most famous in American history. He got a lot of exposure. He was in all the papers. He was on the cover of Time magazine, People magazine. But after watching this movie, you wouldn't think that he really was that famous, even though he really was in reality. Like, what made him famous was the trials, back and forth, going on trial, found out guilty, going home, new charges, new trial, not guilty again, going home. That's how he got the nickname, the Teflon Don. This is how people knew Gotti, from the trials. And a lot of people looked up to him and thought he was a hero. Not me personally, but a lot. But big mistake not really covering that so much in the movie. You didn't really cover what made Gotti Gotti. It was just bad direction. Which brings me to Kevin Connolly, the director. Why is he directing this movie? I guess they just couldn't find anybody because the script was just trash. I'm going to guess all these Hollywood executives are sitting outside eating and Kevin is just walking on by and they just threw the script right at his head and say, hey, you're directing this trash. You're not doing anything anyway. Entourage did it years ago. And he probably said, yeah, sure, I'm not doing anything. I'll do it. And I'm going to assume that's how it went down. This movie brought nothing new to the table at all. After watching this movie, you'll say to yourself, I already knew all this. I thought I was going to see something a little different, but you're not going to get it. And they actually tried to mimic Goodfellas. In Goodfellas, you hear Ray Liotta's voice narrating throughout the entire movie. And in the ending of the movie, he breaks the fourth wall and starts talking directly to the audience. And they actually tried to do that in this film. And it's like, how dare you? Where do you get the nerve? Where do you get the audacity trying to pull that off? You're not Goodfellas. You're never going to be Goodfellas. Stop trying to be Goodfellas, okay? The original title of this movie was supposed to be Gotti in the Shadow of My Father. I think it was originally supposed to revolve around the son, John Gotti Jr., and I actually dug that premise. We know everything there is to know about John Gotti. There were 2 TV movies about John Gotti. There are a million documentaries about John Gotti. But nothing really about the son, John Gotti Jr., who I think eventually became the boss of the Gambino crew. But they decided to just scrap that idea, and that was that. This movie was boring, bland. None of the characters were interesting. Bad writing, bad acting, bad directing. Sadly, I'd give this movie a 2 out of 10. Blech. Congratulations if you're still watching, because you know what time it is. Gotti fun fact number 1. Did you know John Travolta used his own personal wigs in this movie? Fun fact number 2. Did you know in some scenes in this movie, Travolta was wearing John Gotti's actual clothing? And fun fact number 3. Did you know this movie had almost 60 producers attached to it? Probably setting a movie record? Thank you for watching. That's all the time I have for you today, and I will catch you later.